More on our top story tonight. To talk more about salary disputes and the latest employment standards report, we have Assistant Secretary General of NTUC, Patrick Tay. Well, Mr. Tay, incidents of salary claims from locals inching up since 2018. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I would attribute this to several reasons. First is the expansion of the Scope of the Employment Act, which now covers professionals, managing executives, with no salary cap since April 2019. And at the same time, we have also set up the Tripartite Alliance for Disputes Management and the Employment Claims Tribunal. And all this done at the same time and now provide easy and as well as economical access for members as well as workers with employment and salary disputes. So we see figures inching up. At the same time, also last year, we know we had COVID-19 pandemic and all the affected sectors. So, there are more workers being affected by layoffs and being contractually terminated, and some may have issues. So therefore, the inching up.
Well, Mr. Tay, wrongful dismissal claims have stayed the same, but in the end, 3 and 4 were unsubstantiated. So what are some ways to bring this number down, especially when retrenchments are not technically wrongful dismissals?
Yeah, so from our ground observations at the TADAM at NTUC, the Tripartite Alliance for Dispute Management, we see an increase in the number of terminations of which companies do not state the reasons. And this could have been, this would have contributed to the 3 and 4 cases being found unsubstantiated. The current law is in the Employment Act under Section 14 does not require employers to provide reasons when they are contractually terminated. When they contractually terminate the employees, so as such, affected employees who come to us sometimes, feel unjust and negative about the whole termination process when it happens so suddenly. Well, there's also another group of termination cases which has reasons, sometimes possibly genuine, but where affected employees were only informed on the day of termination. And such employees will feel that necessary due processes such as conduct of board inquiry and performance improvement programs were not carried out properly, and therefore felt the termination was unfair. So moving forward, I think we should review Section 14 of the Employment Act to possibly make it compulsory for employers to give reasons for termination with notice. Then this will in a way shift the burden of proof to the employer and reduce some of these cases, and also offer better protection against employers who sometimes willfully exercise a contractual termination so easily without giving reasons.
And let's talk about that online portal for dispute resolution. Do you think it could make it too easy for every little matter to be raised for dispute?
I think it all depends. Yeah, those who are comfortable may find it more convenient. But at the same time, I'm also concerned that there are those who are not so computer or electronically savvy who may have issues navigating and trying to file their claims online. So we'll wait to see whether how the figures pan out and how the system and how receptive to workers who face issues.
Also, the numbers that we know of are formal complaints and appeals. There might be others unreported. But based on what you've seen, where are these gaps in the current process?
Well, I think there are a few gaps. I mean, one possibility from a worker's angle is probably the awareness of their rights and privileges under the law. Likewise, also disputes may arise, particularly in companies when there's a very poor communication. There's a very uneven and so-called uncertain outlook. I think it's important for employers and businesses to communicate to their workers and staff and employees. And sometimes also because maybe the size of organization or they may not have the means to have proper HR or human capital practices. And these all contribute to some of these gaps.
Mr. Tay, which sectors are you most concerned about?
I think due to the global travel restrictions as well as the various safe management measures and decline in the overall travel and tourism, I'm most concerned about the impacted sectors such as aviation-related, as well as hospitality, F&B, and retail, which are all very highly dependent on travel and tourism. And in addition, there are also many of these SMEs which rely a lot on these deeply impacted sectors. Yeah, so these are those sectors which I'm particularly concerned about.
All right, thank you. Patrick Tay, Assistant Secretary General of NTUC.